Hey, it's me. I wanted to make a painting of a big old moon and a nice waterfall with a kind of a galaxy type skyline. And that's what I did, only I started off with soft pastel and not paint because I realized a while ago that using soft pastel, especially for the backgrounds, are so easy and it's so nice to work with. Of course, I used canvas, so to get the canvas nice and smooth for the blending purposes, I gessoed, it a bit. Yeah, I gave it a couple of layers of primer before I just sanded it down lightly, and that gave it a nice smooth area of surface for me to work on. Okay, so after I put in the colors where I wanted it, I blended it with my finger. Don't forget to wipe down your finger every now and then, otherwise it will become just a muddy mess. And work with the light colors first, blending in towards the darker colors. And so don't forget to spray it. Between each layer I give it a quick spray of adhesive to make it stick. I normally use a clear lacquer spray paint. It works perfectly, and I can go over it a couple of times to make sure that I have got the nice saturation that I really want. So yeah, it needed a little bit more pink and purple, and that's what I did over here. Easy peasy. I mirrored that what I did at the top to the bottom because I knew that's where the water was going to be, and it's going to be reflective light in the water. And so I just wanted the colors to be in there before I start the actual painting. When I was satisfied with my colors, I started on the moon, and I used plain white acrylic paint to start off with, and I watered it down quite a bit, so I made it very translucent, and I just put it in very lightly, already keeping in mind where the light source is coming from, so that you can work. Hello, Mom, I see your feet there. She came to come see what I did. Sorry, here I go fumbling again. Anyway, so yeah, with the moon, I kept the area where the light source is coming from in mind, and I started over there, blending it in very so softly into the insides where the craters are going to be. So keep in mind that I started off very lightly, blending it in, and then I went over it again, making more highlights in areas of the craters. And I think I went over it like 3 or 4 times before I was truly satisfied with where it is. And also keep in, as you can see, I must stop saying keep in mind. This is my mind, and my mind is not always working clearly. So, yeah, I did not cover the moon completely because I wanted the sky and the galaxy in the background reflect inside the moon. It's not a solid color. So I just went over the craters, making it lighter and lighter in certain areas until I was satisfied with it. Then when I was satisfied with the craters, I used my fine detailer brush and I just used a little bit more solid white to go around the edges of the craters to show where the light is going. There where I made the lines a little bit too harsh, I just blended it out with my finger, just dabbed it a little bit, and then I just carried on and did it everywhere, all around the craters where I wanted most of the light to be. Easy peasy. When I was satisfied with the moon, I started putting in the base for where the cliffs and the waterfalls are going to come. So yeah, just plain white, also quite diluted, translucent, because I knew I was going to glaze over it with the colors. I just needed to be able to see where I was going to put everything. Then for the cliffs, I used yellow, burnt sienna, burnt umber, a little bit of darker black mixed inside of there where the darker parts must be, and then of course where the lighter parts must be. And I just did all of that. I kept coming back to the water. I used a little bit of a light blue to glaze over where the waterfalls are going, and then I just made little streaks inside of it with the white. And of course I revisited the cliffs to make sure that there's enough shadows behind the waterfalls to show its depth. After which I started with the trees and the bushes, the foliage on the cliffs, and for its base color I just blended a very dark blue and a very dark green together, because that will be the shade. Now you don't have to put in a lot of detail when you do this, because keep in mind, dare I say it again, keep in mind. Every video there's something. Now, what I was going to say is this is a small painting. It's only a size A4. So, and it's also viewed from a distance, so you don't really have to put in a lot of detail to be able to see what it really is. So I just blotched in the trees and the bushes, the foliage, with these dark colors to give it a little bit of texture so it's not completely flat. sun going over the trees and the bushes with a lighter green, a paler green to show that it's leaves, and I just kept on layering it and layering it and layering it, going lighter and lighter so that you can see and doing the same technique, just little splotches. Yeah, layer upon layer. Of course, you have to make the splashes where the waterfalls falls into the pool. So same technique, little splashes and splotches at the bottom, and yeah, defining the ripples a little bit so that you can see it's water and you can see it's a waterfall. Also added a little bit of highlights at the top, the rounding, so that it can look like the waterfalls is coming out from behind the cliffs or falling over there. Some added highlights, and of course you must also make a little bit of splashes at the top as well, because it's fast flowing, so a little bit of water and mistiness coming off of the top of the waterfalls as well. Made the ripples in the water a little bit clearer, but not so much as to cover the color of the sky. And then I added a little bit more highlights because it's a bright moon, and the bright moon is reflecting off of the water, so all the little bushes, the ends of them will be even shinier, make it look like it sparkles. In my previous video, I spoke how difficult it was to do this, making the stars with an old toothbrush and some white paint. But this time it came out a little bit better. I made less big blotches and more smaller little stars, a little bit reflective stars there in the water as well. It was fine. I wasn't completely satisfied with the sky and the light stars. So I just made a couple of bigger ones with my paintbrush. I had to get in a couple of shooting stars over there, and I tried to make the line as smooth or as straight as possible, so I like flick it off, and it was still a little bit crinky, so I just used some water to take off the excess and make it a little bit more straight. And that was it. That's how I made this painting. I'm actually quite proud of it. It came out better than I thought. Okay, but now I've got to go. Video's finished. Like and subscribe. Love you lots. Gotta go. Bye.